ground. Get down on the ground. Get on the ground. Bam, 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 bam.
Police encounters can escalate in an instant, turning routine stops into devastating tragedies. Today, we're looking at heartbreaking moments where parents were forced to watch as their children were shot by officers. Starting off with Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old whose mother witnessed his final moments over a video call. On April 11, 2021, 20-year-old Daunte Wright and his girlfriend were driving through the Brooklyn Center in Minnesota when police pulled them over. The officers had run Wright's information and found there was an outstanding warrant for weapons violation. What should have been a routine traffic stop quickly escalated into something far more tragic. As the officers attempted to arrest Wright, his mother was unknowingly witnessing the events unfold via a video call with his girlfriend. Wright, visibly distressed, tried to break free from the officers and return to his car. The situation spun out of control in a matter of seconds. Officer Kimberly Potter, intending to use her taser to subdue Wright and prevent him from fleeing, reached for her weapon. However, in a tragic and irreversible mistake, she grabbed her gun instead. "I grabbed the wrong gun." Potter's panicked voice was heard as the deafening sound of a gunshot echoed. Wright, already behind the wheel, managed to drive a short distance before crashing his car. His life ended at the scene, leaving his mother still on that video call to grapple with the reality of what had just happened. She had witnessed her son being shot through the eyes of his girlfriend, utterly helpless to intervene.
Brian, his mom, I want to see now, please. He's over 20.
I don't know what's going on.
I know what's going on.
What happened?
My FaceTime live. Ma'am, I'm going to get you somebody to talk to. I'm going to get you someone to talk to. Okay? But I just can't have you going over there right now, okay?
Ma'am, my name is Mark. My name is Mark. What is your name? Can I have you sit on the ledge here?
You guys shot him. Why?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Why? Because he had a warrant. Are you fucking serious? I was here. I watched it.
Tell me what's going on, because I wasn't here.
No. Where's the girl that was in the car with him? You guys made her hang up Facebook Live so you could kill my son. That's pretty pathetic.
What is your name?
What is your name? My name is Katie Bryant. My son's name is Daunte Wright. You guys already know that.
I don't.
Katie Bryant. It was a high-speed chase?
Bryant?
How?
And then what's your son's name?
Daunte Wright. It was not a high-speed chase. You guys shot him in a pullover traffic.
I didn't do anything, ma'am.
Yeah, you did. He was laying in his front seat dead. His girlfriend Facebooked me. How did his car get smashed?
What's his name again?
Daunte Wright.
Wright? Is it W-R-I-G-H?
W-I-G-H-T.
Okay. Is it Katie?
Yeah.
Bryant.
Yeah.
All right. Just wait a second here, ma'am. You just sit down, please.
Ma'am.
You sit down. Okay, so I wasn't here. You said there was a traffic stop and they shot
They
him?
pulled him over, and he said, Mom, do you have a warrant? I said, I don't know. They asked him to get out of the car. He got out of the car, and they said, wait, stop. They said, stop. And then she goes, and then they shot him, and he fell back in the seat. And he was in the driver's seat. And she said, they shot him. And I said, what do you mean they shot him? She said, yeah. And then they told her to hang up, and that was it. I don't know nothing else. So I had to call you guys to find out where this happened.
I really don't know more because I just came because I heard there was trouble.
Why is my car smashed up?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This deputy here wasn't. We weren't here, but
Is he alive?
I do not know the condition. I don't
Are you
know.
guys serious? What are you talking to me for then?
I'm gonna find out.
We're gonna find out, but we have to wait and find out who's involved and who's in charge, and get you in contact with the people that know what's
Tell me
going
on the other
on.
side. You tell them who I'm talking to.
I'm gonna start exchanging.
We are also trying to figure out what's going on.
In the chaotic aftermath, Dante Wright's devastated mother arrived at the scene, desperate for answers. Overwhelmed with grief and rage, she confronted the officers, demanding to know why her son had been shot. Her pain was palpable as she wrestled with the horror of what had just unfolded. Meanwhile, Officer Kimberly Potter, still in shock, sat at the scene, repeatedly expressing disbelief at her fatal mistake. The weight of her actions was immediately clear, but no explanation could ease the unimaginable loss Wright's mother had just endured.
As you can hear, the officer, while struggling with Mr. Wright, shouts, "Taser, taser," several times. That is part of the officer's training prior to deploying a taser, which is a less lethal device. That is done to make her partners aware, as well as the subject, that a taser deployment will be imminent. During this encounter, however, the officer drew their handgun instead of their taser. For informational purposes, we train with our handguns on our dominant side and our taser on our weak side. So if you're right-handed, you carry your firearm on your right side and you carry your taser on the left. This is done purposefully and is trained. As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I've viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge that resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright. I have asked the BCA to conduct an independent investigation into the shooting and death. Once they are completed, I expect they will submit their findings, independent of me, to the appropriate authorities, the appropriate attorneys that will look and review this case.
During a press conference following the tragic incident, law enforcement provided insight into what had gone wrong. The officer involved, Kimberly Potter, had shouted "taser, taser" multiple times before pulling the trigger. This phrase, part of a standard police protocol, is meant to alert fellow officers and the suspect that a taser is about to be deployed. However, in a critical mistake, Potter drew her handgun instead. According to the police chief, officers are trained to carry their firearms on their dominant side and their tasers on the opposite side to avoid confusion. Despite this, Potter mistakenly fired a single, fatal shot. Her immediate reaction, filled with shock and distress, indicated that the shooting was unintentional, a tragic error that took Dante Wright's life in an instant. The aftermath of Dante Wright's death sent waves of anger and grief throughout the community. Potter was charged with both first-degree and second-degree manslaughter. After a long and emotional trial, she was sentenced to 2 years in prison for the tragic error that claimed Wright's life. As Dante Wright's family grappled with their devastating loss, another tragedy unfolded just 9 days later in Columbus, Ohio.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, get down! Get down!
On April 20th, 2021, chaos erupted at a foster home in Columbus, Ohio. A frantic 911 call had alerted police to a violent altercation involving several girls, one of whom was reportedly armed with a knife. When officers arrived, the scene was already on the verge of spiraling out of control. Tensions were high, and lives were at risk. As soon as the officers stepped out of their patrol car, they were met with chaos. A group of girls yelling and fighting. In the midst of all of this was 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant, brandishing a large knife and lunging toward another girl. The officers had only seconds to act. One officer, seeing the imminent threat to the other girl's life, shouted commands, ordering Bryant to drop the weapon. But the scene was too fast, too volatile. In a split second, the officer made a life-alerting decision. He fired 4 shots, each one cutting through the intensity of the moment. The loud cracks of gunfire rang out, and Bryant crumpled to the ground, still clutching the knife. Silence fell over the scene as the realization of what had just occurred hit everyone.
Hey! What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey! Get down!
You ain't shoot my fucking baby! You shot my baby!
you fucking serious? I swear to God, you fucking shot, Are you stupid? Are you fucking serious? She shot?
Back up.
Is she shot?
She had a knife. She just went at her.
Yeah, she's a fucking kid, man. Damn, are you stupid? A fucking kid?
Standing nearby was Brian's father, frozen in shock. His initial reaction was one of disbelief and anger, shouting at the officer she was just a kid. His grief and frustration poured out, even though just moments earlier, he had been seen kicking another girl involved in the brawl. The confusion and raw emotion in his voice mirrored the chaos that had just unfolded before his eyes.
She came at her with a knife. She charged her when she came at her with a knife.
You didn't have to shoot her with what? The guy's a fucking girl. Yeah. Now she's dead for what? I shot a fucking kid.
Come on. She came at her with the knife.
Don't argue with her. All right.
As backup officers arrived, they immediately began life-saving efforts on Brian, attempting CPR, but it was too late. Micaiah Bryant laid motionless as the crowd of onlookers grew, some in shock, others in disbelief. The officers who had fired the fatal shots began explaining his actions to the growing crowd, detailing the dangerous position Brian had put another girl in. She came at her with a knife, he said, defending his decision in the face of mounting tension. Despite his explanation, the crowd's reaction was heated. Many couldn't comprehend how a teenager's life had ended so abruptly. The knife, which had been a real and immediate threat, seemed to disappear in the minds of those struggling to accept the tragedy. Later, a grand jury reviewed the case, concluding that the officer's actions were justified. Faced with a split-second decision to protect another life, the jury ruled that the shooting was legally defensible. But for Brian's family, and especially her father, the ruling brought little comfort. Their daughter's life had been cut short, and no legal outcome could undo the heart-wrenching tragedy that unfolded that day.
The system failed my daughter. The system failed other children. And there needs to be some reform to the system. And 9 times out of 10, these children and my family and my children are better off at home. It's awful. The stress of everything is awful. You cannot pacify these children and make them forget about their family. You just can't.
Makia's Brian's mother, devastated by the loss of her daughter, voiced her frustrations in the aftermath. Tearfully, she expressed that the system had failed her child and so many others like her. She called for urgent reforms, emphasizing that the foster system had only compounded the struggles her daughter faced. In her heart-wrenching plea, she shared the emotional toll it had taken on their family, saying that no amount of care could replace the love and security of a child's own home. You cannot pacify these children and make them forget about their family, she said, her voice filled with pain and anger at the system she believed had let them down. Her story is not an isolated case. Across the nation, other families have faced similarly harrowing encounters. Here's another such tragic case. On March 27, 2024, a heartbreaking scene unfolded in Ozone Park, Queens, when 19-year-old Wynn Rosario, suffering from a mental health crisis, called 911 for help. Responding to the call, Officers Salvatore Alongai and Matthew Cianfrocco were led to the family's second-floor apartment by Wynn's younger brother, Ucho, who explained that his brother was in a highly distressed state. The situation escalated quickly once they entered the home. Body cam footage from officers revealed a tense atmosphere. Upon seeing the officers, Wynn grabbed a pair of scissors from a kitchen kitchen drawer, prompting the officers to immediately tase him. However, the initial taser shot did not incapacitate him, and Wynn's mother, Noten Eva Costa, stepped in, trying to protect her son. She managed to briefly wrest the scissors from Wynn's hands, but was met with officers shouting commands to get out of the way as the situation spiraled out of control.
What's up, man? Did you call?
Rob is it? Yeah.
On who?
Himself.
Called on himself? What's going on with him?
He's having an episode.
What kind of episode?
Like,
Is he a bipolar schizo? Like,
nah, like, he just,
what kind of episodes? Yeah.
basically, like, he was just going crazy. Like, he don't even know what he's doing, to be honest. Like, how old's your brother? He's 19. How old are you? I'm 17.
Where's your dad?
He's not home. He's at work.
So who did I speak to on the phone?
I think it was my mom.
No, I spoke to a guy.
That was my brother.
He called on himself?
Yeah. So that's what I'm
we'll
taking.
talk.
I don't think so.
High on drugs?
I don't believe so.
Is he diagnosed with anything?
I'm not sure.
Alright. Oh, you told him second floor? Hello. What's up, pal?
আমরা তো মনে করছি সে ভালোই হয়ে গেছে কিন্তু কেন সে আবার এরকম করতেছে
Anybody else in the house?
আচ্ছা ওই
Yo, yo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let him go. Let go of him and back up. Let go of him. Nick!
Please don't shoot my mother.
We're not. Tell him to get the fuck out of the way.
Get out of the way! Now! Now! Get away from him! Miss!
Please do not shoot my mother.
I'm not going to, but
Please do not.
don't.
Sergio, get me another call over here real quick.
Miss, get away. Get away.
You arrest but not shoot. Don't shoot.
Get out of the way!
Don't shoot.
Get down! Get down! Get
No! Shoot him!
Get down! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
Please do not shoot my mom.
Get her out of the way!
I'm so sorry.
Get her out of the way now! No! No! No!
Sergio, get me
Put it
another
down!
car!
Put it down!
In the footage, Ucho is seen pleading with the officers, begging them to shoot his mother, while the officers tased Wynn again. Despite their efforts, Wynn grabbed the scissors once more and moved towards the officers, resulting in a fatal series of gunshots. His mother's cries and desperate attempts to de-escalate the situation are clearly captured in the footage. The entire ordeal, from the officers' arrival to the shooting, unfolded in a matter of minutes, leaving Wynn's family devastated. The footage has drawn widespread criticism, with many accusing the officers of failing to manage the crisis appropriately. The family, in their statements, condemned the officers for escalating the situation, calling it cold-blooded murder. They argued that Wynn, who was in a vulnerable mental state, should not have lost his life that day. These stories remind us of the urgent need for accountability and reform within our policing system. As we reflect on the tragic losses, it's crucial that we continue to advocate for change to prevent such heartbreak from happening again. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks at important issues.